Hey everybody, how you doing? It's John and Forrest here with Bode Real Estate Group, back for your festive monthly market update. Happy December, everybody.
Yeah, thanks guys. It's been a bit of a wild year in the real estate market. Obviously, we've had a lot of kind of ups and downs and a lot of changes, and we're going to kind of summarize that and also report on the Bank of Canada's rate cut today, another 0.5 cut, which is fantastic to see. We'll give you some context around that.
So great news on that. Personally, I think this will probably, I think they might even hold the next one. This will probably be the last like overcut or big cut that they do for the next little while. Maybe a pause on the next one to 0.25 if they deem it necessary. But I think with the last couple cuts in the series of smaller cuts before that, it's definitely brought us back down into a range where the general population of the buyer pool is feeling a bit more confident in the market and the rates and everything.
Absolutely.
Like that.
I think if we looked at this time last year, I think there was a lot of interest rates in the 6% range.
Yeah.
Now your variable I think is going to be mid fours and your fixed are in the low fours. So it's kind of like it's getting back towards a more normal kind of, since the 2000s kind of more normal rate now. In result of that, what we've actually seen, even before today, in the kind of last couple of weeks, I guess you could say the last 2 months, we really felt the last couple of weeks is a pickup in the market.
Mm-hmm.
Sales figures are up, which is a little while going into Christmas. Obviously, we expected to kind of drop off a cliff. Sales figures are actually up quite a bit, and this December is tipped to be 30% more sales activity than last December. So things are definitely going in the right direction due to these cuts.
Yeah, and like typically throughout our careers, we always kind of joke that we have a fairly busy December, or at least it feels busy. I know last December definitely didn't feel busy for us, but this one, like right up until now, it seems busy. We've just put a couple of new listings up. You know, we've got quite a few people lined up for the new year already. So we're definitely feeling like January is going to kind of get off to a running start here, and the general consensus seems to be that people are kind of returning to the market that maybe had plans on hold for the last 6 months. So that's great. I'm definitely enjoying the activity pickup overall for sure.
Absolutely. I think that's pretty much like a dead cert now. We're going to see a very active market right out the gate. The question will be, because we kind of saw that at the beginning of 2024, I guess the real question will be, will that be quashed by a ton of inventory hitting the market in the spring? The answer is that we don't know. It's too far out to predict. We don't know how sellers are going to react. We really don't know what the inventory is going to look like. I think it's obviously going to increase. It always does seasonally. The question will be, will it increase enough to dampen that demand? Or will the demand be enough and the supply be enough to keep prices kind of steadily rising? Which is what most real estate brokerages, most analysts, Bloomberg and wherever else are kind of saying, which is that we're probably going to see moderate price growth next year, but do expect right out the gate January to be busy on the back of this second jumbo cut.
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of people kind of sitting on the sidelines for the last quarter here, not wanting to list before the new year. And I think with this rate cut, it's kind of a double-edged sword where the buyers are now feeling more confident and want to jump in, but also maybe the more pragmatic sellers and people that have kind of been wishy-washy about things or haven't had concrete plans, they've been kind of waiting as well. So like you said, it might be a bit of an influx of listings and buyers at the same time, kind of holding that balanced market that we've been seeing for the past.
Which is kind of
good. It's great. Yeah, it's great.
I mean,
honestly.
it would kind of be, it would be weird to us if we saw the market suddenly just run away, inventory was tight, and then prices just shot up, 100 grand the first 6 months of the year. I don't think that's going to happen. I think with the consensus is we're going to see a lot of listings, we're going to see a lot of buyers, and it's going to just return to being more active. I think price growth is definitely on the cards. It's not guaranteed, but I think it's safe to say I don't think we're going to see any price declines.
No, I mean, the sales volumes are down in some areas. Like the last month for the Fraser Valley, it's down about 13%.
Since when?
Just in the last kind of 30 days, if you analyze the data.
Okay.
But
that's seasonal though, right?
Seasonal, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, and also earlier this year, we noticed with some listings we had in the Valley and Abbotsford that it just seemed really slow out there, and there was a lot of inventory. And some of the agents that we know that have worked out in the Valley further have been saying, yeah, it's very, very slow. So I think, again, closer to Vancouver, it just seems to be holding things quite well. While the inventory is rising, it's getting gobbled up enough that we're still kind of holding that balanced market. So yeah, I'll be really curious to see how the inventory levels play out into the first quarter of next year, and how the buyers are going to respond to that. So
if you're a seller right now, the real play really is like, do you want to wait until the spring and kind of potentially have a lot of risk of competition and kind of being, longer days on market, there's 10 listings just like yours in the same city right there or more, and you're kind of competing, but there's enough buyers to kind of chew them up within like a relatively reasonable time frame? Or do you kind of strike while the iron's hot right out the gate in the new year, newfound sense of positivity in the market, buyers armed with variable rates in the mid fours, or 4% 5-year fix, going, oh, this is my time to get in. Obviously most buyers are sellers as well. They sell, then they buy or whatever, right? But I think a lot of people, just if you look at carrying these large mortgages we see of $700,000, $800,000, $900,000, if you've in the last 2 months you've had 1% wiped off those rates, your monthly payments are going to be dropping probably close to $1,000, right? Maybe $700 on a big mortgage, right? So it's a big difference, and that's obviously off the back of a couple more 0.25 cuts we had. So I think it's just going to free up the ability for people to do what they want to do again after being kind of restrained by these rates for 2.5 years now.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people that are looking to make the move from a condo to townhouse or townhouse to detached, which is something we always kind of drone on about. I think that's going to be the rush of buyers and sellers that we're going to see in the new year. People who want to get these transactions done and have it be a bit more smooth and have a bit more time compared to waiting further into the year when things are a bit more active or faster paced, and we got to make quicker decisions. Something you like might not stick around for longer than a week, right? So
it's definitely going to be a busy one, which is great. And I think 2025, it looks like a great year. I think it will be across the board. And that's the real estate side of things. But I guess the context around why Bank Canada's done these 2 jumbo cuts is kind of a bit negative in a way, because the economy is basically not great. We've got high unemployment, the highest in, was it 8 years, I think?
Yes.
It's up to 6.8% unemployment. It's pretty high. GDP is terrible. It's coming in way lower than expected. 1% last quarter. It was expected to be 1.5. And we've also got the Liberals coming out and saying we're actually curbing back immigration massively. So obviously the last couple of years we've had 1 million, 2 million, 3 people a year coming into this country, right? Which has obviously benefited them in terms of their GDP numbers, because more people working, more people contributing obviously means growth.
More consumer spending.
Exactly. It's a trickle down, right? So now they're capping it off. They're saying, a lot of analysts are saying that it's going to basically go to zero. So net population growth, when you factor in people leaving, people coming in, it's going to be like flat. So that's not going to help the economy either. So I think the Bank of Canada's kind of seen the writing on the wall. They want to get ahead of it in the winter months when real estate slows down, because I think they are quite cautious of real estate being slow, which then obviously means construction is slow.
It's such a big driving factor to the economy.
It's like
consumer spending is picking up and housing's picking up a bit, but like with the slower than expected economic growth, like you mentioned, like they really need to spur things up a bit, which is kind of wild, because they spend so much time trying to curb the real estate market.
I know.
And then they do so many things to try to spike it back up again. It's like a vicious love-hate cycle that they have going on.
That's the thing. When there is kind of government bodies getting involved, they are kind of just moving stuff around, right? Whereas if you let the free market decide, there's these big boom busts. They're trying to smooth out the boom busts, and it is working for the most part, but nothing's ever 100% good or 100% bad. The good thing for most people, if you're not getting laid off, which the majority of people aren't, thankfully, but if you're in a good industry, it's pretty secure. The good thing is lower rates are coming. They're already here. There's probably more coming in the new year, and it's looking like credit in general is going to be like loosened up again. So people can make these moves they want to do. They can pull lines of credit and do renovations they want to do and all this kind of stuff. The other thing to mention, I guess, the rhetoric from the Bank of Canada about why they did the 0.5 and then signaling forward about what their expectations are. They did kind of say, look, we've done 2.5s. We want to keep the housing market going over the winter, especially. But looking forward, these rate cuts might not be coming in abundance. They have been the last kind of couple of months.
Exactly, yeah.
So, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a hold next. I think the next,
like I talked about in the beginning of the video, we will probably see a hold next month, I would guess, and then maybe a couple moderate or small cuts after that.
But it depends on the data.
if
unemployment still continues to rocket up and everything, and inflation's still kind of super lame. Maybe they will cut more. Who knows,
Yeah.
right? There's also the Trump tariffs that we don't know if they're going to come in or not. If they do come in, that's not going to be great for Canada. We will have to stimulate the economy more. There's a lot of variables, but the good thing for now is I think we all have lower rates on the horizon, more active market, and it's positive for buyers and sellers.
And with some of the recent changes we talked about last month, with the barrier for entry being changed for insured mortgages and stuff like that, I think it's just going to kind of stimulate things in general. People are going to take advantage of the PTTs and the increases to amortization and down payments and stuff like that. So I think overall we're looking at a pretty positive outcome for 2025, but I'm definitely not thinking anything's going to just take off like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be a slow, gradual build up over the next year.
If it's how we think it's going to go, I'm most happy with that.
Yeah, for sure.
Like
makes our job easier.
We don't want a crazy market like 2021. We just want a nice market where it's relatively balanced. Buyers and sellers can feel like they're making good moves in reasonable time frames, and things just kind of move forward.
And the value seems there, right? You want people to feel like they're getting the right value for what they're buying or selling.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely. So I think things are looking great, and we hope you liked our Christmas sweaters. And we'll be back in the new year for an update in January to let you know how the kind of first few weeks of the year are kicking off. But we hope you have a great time over the holidays, and we look forward to catching up with you guys in the new year.
Yeah, everyone be safe, have fun out there, and we'll see you in 2025.
All right. Take care.
Bye.